systems?
We can represent our system by drawing the model or image
Drawing,
to
what does it call? So in the morning sessions, we have provide three model different. We have like mathematical, physical, and then the other one is what?
uh,
Imagination.
The process one. So in this case, they have many way, but as the IT guy, I will suggest you to not draw the image like the one I show you. Do you know reason why? At the moment, I just draw one box, have the input of the system. Actually, you can do like that. But as the IT guy, it will not benefit anything to you if you draw that kind of image. So one thing that I can ask you to do is you draw some activity diagram to show the process. For example, when I start the process, so we have like human input. After one process human input extractions, you get to the next function is X selections. After X selections, you have the other function is called human transforms because you have all input already. So in this case, the human and X selection, you can make a similar time. Simultaneously, it means that the same time, run parallel time. So you can go, you can draw the same structure like this, or you can put like, okay, it's just only the diagram. Start, use draw to state. I don't say that I am good drawing activity diagram. I just only draw the, I don't put the name as activity diagram. I just put the name as diagrams. So any kind of diagram. So human input, X selection. If yes, if yes, we go to the other function we call human transform. After that, we have to go to output as a final step, new humans. So this is one thing of diagram that you show to the customer to show about the process, how our system runs. But how can you say that our system is good, our system have no negative effect? So sorry, I have new sketch. So I just save it. Okay. So now I go to the new sketch. So when you try to compare the result to our systems, in this case, you can say that our systems make a good quality. We have input as a human and the output also as a humans. So in this case, what we said that human property, or I can say that the attribute here. What I mentioned so far, this machine is just only human transforms, but related to a human property attribute, it change nothing. It means that our humans still keep every mental capacity, physical capacity the same. So in this case, we can transform the appearance, but everything mental we cannot transform. So we can say that if we assume that our system equal to fx. It's not mathematical equations, it's just only fx. So as a result, we have a new fx. But when we try to reverse the process, we will get the result to equal. So this is one idea that I would like to show to you. However, our system is not the real ones, but we can still represent it, and then we can show it to the customer that we can explain them to understand about those process kind of thing. So I would like to tell you that, okay, for the human transport, teleport, for Dr. Strange, I would like to make some movie related to Dr. Strange. So I can find a way. How can I show the magic to transport from one place to the other place? So for the human, they just use a kind of magic to have the mental concentration, and then imagine about destination that you would like to go, and then you draw the path, and then you can get the path go to the destinations. So this is one kind of thing that I would like to show to you. Sorry. So for the next machines, I will pick up water extractions. So this is one because it's related to chemical. So I will use a kind of chemical model to extract information. So actually we have X plus O will equals to X2O, and then we put 2 here. So this is the process when we try to compress 2 times of hydrogens and then plus oxygen, you will get the water. So what can I do if I would like to invert the process by have input as the water? Sorry, water. After that, I would like to have 2A plus O. How can I do? Any idea from you?
Mm, like we have to bonsot ở đằng này.
No, we cannot consult it yet. So actually, we know the status difference between XO is a kind of wind, gas, water is a kind of liquid. So first thing that you would like to reach to the system. So the model that we try to show to our customer, you just draw only this kind of equations and you can get the more one model. But what should you do to explain them about the process? First input, you have the water. Water can split to the gas by matching with the heat. Burn it, you will get gas. So our gas, we cannot still separate yet because our gas is a mix between X and O. After that, you have the other functions we call extraction functions. If you ask me how does it work for extraction function, I will say I have no ideas too because I am not the one that skillful in chemical. I just only say that how can I represent it and explain to the customer. I put that, okay, the process of our system is that we have one kind of the solid box, and then when we put the water into that solid box, we provide with the one capacity of the heat in order to make our water liquid become the gas. And after that, we have one function system that can extract different gas to the unique gas. For example, our gas is the mixture of hydrogen and then oxygen. So we have the extract function to separate between X and O. After that, you will get the original value of X and the original value of O. So this is the way that our machine try to extract the gas. So for our system, how can I produce the quality of water to be the gas? So if I say about the quality, appearance of this, the way of design machine, okay, I don't want to say anything, because the way to design machine, you can produce any kind of your machine tool that you want to do, but the way up to address the quality, our machine burn without affect to humans. After that, when you try to extract the capacity of the gas of hydrogen and oxygen, we do not lose any small amount of the gas. What is the original input of the water? You will get exactly the same as the number of original gas, egg, oxygen, and hydrogen. So this is a simple, very simple case for you to understand that. Ho- However, our systems is not real or real. As a human being, we still be able to explain, to create imagination, provide to the customer. This is the goal of modeling and simulation. In case of modeling, we, for example, in case of modeling, we don't have any like a strategy or anything that provide you a specific term. But in this case, I just would like to let you know that the benefit of using modeling and simulation system, we can provide the understanding to our customer, to our audience, or to the human. However, those kind of system exist or not exist. So if you ask me to give one example of the real system, so what should I give to you? For example, in Asians, we have 10 countries. I assume that we have 10 airports. Okay, so I just put 1, 2, I can 3. Okay, let me say only just 4, because 10 is too messy with the diagram. So I just say only 4. So my destination, sorry, I just write 4 here. My destinations, I would like to go from the source is number 1 to go to number 2. So our airplane traffic, you can go to number 1 if possible way, and then go to number 2 directly. So, or you can go to this one directly, or you can go to this one, or you can go to number 3 and number 4. After that, this one you have two lines together. So in this case, I know you learned automata already. So in this case, to provide the path for the plane's path, you have 1, 2, you have 1, 3, 2, you have 1, 4, 2, you have 1, 3, 4, 2, or you have 1, 4, 3, 2. So to reach our destinations, we have possibility for paths, 5 paths, sorry. We have 5 solutions. As a criteria of optimal modeling and simulation, the evaluation we have to have optimizations. So what should I do with the keyword optimization? Among 5 paths, among 5 paths, we have to select one path. So I put parameter as x, or I can say y equal to f x equal here. So in this one, if I would like to ask you the solution that you can use in this one is 3 functions. 3 solutions. For example, we call M3 because if we say binary tree, it's not correct because you have only one leaf. So in the solution to find the best path in this one, if I focus on the real airplane path, so you will try to identify the distance. Normally we focus on every plane have the same speed, so we try to focus on the distance. The distance, for example, this one is A, B, C, D, E, F. So the combinations of the path, for example, if you put the combination from 1 to is equal to C, so what is the amount number statistic? We can say the numeric system value of C. 1, 3, 2 equal to A plus B. 1, 2, 3. So you can combine those values and then you can propose the best path ever to the plane to provide the traffic routes for the customer. But if I am assume that this is kind of the routing, so what should I do? In this case, you focus on the distance. But if you focus on routing protocol, it have many cases that you would like to solve. Some routing protocol based on the bandwidth, some routing protocol based on the destinations, number of the hub. So we have different kind of this technology. So the way that you try to apply some method, like in routing network protocol, we apply based on the real protocol what we use. And in this case, you apply kind of the way that try to identify something. You can explain to a customer. So the idea that I would like to share for you today, it's not something complicated. I would like to just to let you know that some system, some requirement of the work, when you go to the professional work, however, you cannot build system immediately to show to your customer, but you can use your skill, flexible, to show to them. Just draw something, explain to them, make sure that you're confident enough to show to them that if you take our service, we will be able to provide this kind of thing to you with the best quality, best service and price. Why I would like to say like that? The reason is that there are many kind of the job in the real market. For example, you are good at coding, you go to work in the coding company. It is okay. But some people they say that oh, I am feel so bored with coding. I would like to say something using my social skill with the technical skill together. I go to the company as a sale or pre-sale company. So what should I do? Just the way that you try to provide the solution to customer. So the way that you try to, for example, if you go to sell firewall, it doesn't mean that when you go to discuss with your customer, you take the real firewall to show to your customer. You just use the template or cookbook of the pro, of the product to show them that okay, our product we have this feature. How does it work? We provide the best quality, reliable performance, and then process of the system. So this is a way that you try to represent one thing to tell the other. So go back to our work. So if I ask you to explain me, how can the teleport machine be explained to the customer? Cầm Hến.
Bạn là khu xong
Okay,
xong số xong số ngôn nói tiếng là khu là hoạt động.
you can please try to answer in English because we have the foreigner inside of a class, so we have to try to adapt the situations. The question is that, as I explained you at the moment, however the system is not exist or exist, we still have the way to explain to the other people to understand about the system. So in case if you are the owner of the company that produce one kind of service is like any kind of imagination or real machines, as a teleport machine. So how can you provide the confidence to the customer or the explanation to customer?
Uh, uh, about a telecom
No,
machine,
no, teleport. It's not
a
a telecom.
telecom machine, we should have to like a template or diagram that uh, uh, to explain to the customer that how it's work. And but I think that it's not the real system. Uh, that's all.
Okay, as I told you at the moment, normally if focus some model is a kind of fact, like mathematics or physics, scientific is a fact. So when we try something to produce it a fact, we have to like have a specifically amount, number, or figure. But if something cannot happen in the real world, you just only use imaginations. So just only drawing can solve the problems. Any kind of draw, I don't say it's a kind of diagram, but I just said it's a drawing. So how can teacher, how can we provide the best drawing to the customer? I have no ideas too. The best drawing is like when you draw something, attract the customer. Drawing that made by you can explain every process of your systems. However, it is not real. And the other thing that you can do is that normally people always think that when we have a system that not exists, what is the useful to provide those services to the customer? I would like to give to you that however the system is not exist, some system cannot exist in current world, current situation, current time, but next 1,000 years perhaps it can exist because everything we have innovative status is when that we can, like you see our computer from the previous time is just a little small capacity. The big room can contain only one computer, and for the assembly for device components you have like a bad status slow machine, but currently you have the sharp one. The qualification of the product can be upgraded anyway from the one status to add the status time by time. It's the same thing. Currently, I try to give you the example. Some system is not existing, but next 10 years, perhaps it can exist. I say it's not true today, but for next 10 year or next 100 year, it can be true. So we can just use some imaginations, but we also can get benefit from it. So it is the case. So I think for the second one, is really so not second one, the first one, the weather prediction and prevention. This system is the real one. It's not the non-exist one because every country we have the weather prediction broadcast systems that try to have the data to formulate the model. For I just only give example for the current status. So first of all, in machine learning algorithms, we have the scenario of two things. First, we have algorithms. I cannot draw in here, so I just here. I do not know. Some of you have learned already about net, sorry, machine learning algorithms, but in this case, I don't focus any algorithm, but I just would like to give idea to all of you some case that happen in machine learning algorithms. I just said that in machine learning algorithm we have algorithms and data. So I just put algo and then data. For algo, you can use any kind of machine learning algorithm. For example, you can use linear algorithm support vector machine. you can use neural network, you can use association function, association rule. We can use the other kind of machine learning algorithm. So I just put FX as algorithms. But one thing that I would like to suggest to you in this is about data. In machine learning algorithm, we have divided data into two parts. One is about training set, and the other one is about testing test. Sorry. So the flow of data. For example, if I would like to predict tomorrow rain or not rain, that we have inputs like picture of the clouds. I just put pic of cloud and wind speed. For example, I just have this value, two value, just only example. So the way that we try to make a system, first of all, I have to collect data. For example, now it's 2021. So I have the data set from 2000 to 2020. I have the data set, so I can get from collections data, we have data set and result. In this case, we already have desired result output. We call desired. It means that the data will already consist input and output. So in this case, our input we have two picture of cloud, picture of cloud and wind speed, and our output is rain or not rain. So our classification, we have divide our inputs, our data into two parts, training set and testing set. If you ask me how many percent that we should divide, it depends on the way that you make experiments. So for example, I try to test a population of 50-50, 70 and 30, 80 and 10-20. So we can test any possible population. After that, you can provide the assumption to the one that provide the best result. For example, we have the data from training set and testing set. We take a training set to input to our algorithm. After input to them and we use machine learning algorithm, we will get one model. So I just model. So in order to make sure that our model is work or not, so this one I just put training set into algorithm. We get our model, put testing sets to our model to make evaluation that our model is usable or not. So we call validation in this process. So when we put testing set to our validation, we will get a result. So our result is mean that our model is accurate enough or not to use. So after testing and training and testing, we get one model we call model of systems. So now I get one system. So currently I just put the picture of the current cloud and wind speed. I will get the output rain or not rain. So this is one kind of the process of machine learning algorithms. So I do not know that some of you have learned already or some of you not learned. I just try to tell you that the way that we try to represent model in the research term, if I use a kind of machine learning algorithms, the way that I generate the model is like this. I have the previous data. I have the algorithms. I use previous data to train my algorithm to be a model. How can I evaluate my model? So for first evaluations, I your I just bring the testing set to put the generated model I get from the training. And then if accuracy, because we have already have the desired output, so we already have the output already. So if the input and output we get 100% or 99% of correct without error, it means that our model can generate a system. So from this existing data and algorithm, I can produce one software that can predict tomorrow is will be will rain or not rains. This is one way of try to make one like it's a classification, not a classification, it's like prediction system. This is one example of the weather prediction. I would like to give you the other example. Okay, I give you the other example. For example, I talk about information security. So one technique that we be able to provide information security is about cryptography. So before you understand about cryptography, you have to understand encode and decode. Because cryptography, we have encrypt and decrypt. So I just encrypt and decrypt. So before you understand about cryptography, I just ask you to understand about encode and decode. So anyone of you can tell me what is encode means?
encode ដូចយើង encryption ឯង
No, it's not encryptions.
កាសិន
decode មានថាយើងដោះកូដនឹងចេញទៅ
Decode
គឺ
is
បំលែ
mean
ជា
that
ភាសាដែលយើងអាចមើលបាន
inverse process of encode. Antoine, can you tell me what is the difference between encode and cryptography?
I would say that one is about the key that you and I don't really know. I don't really know.
I think you can get some similar to reach to the answer. Okay, let me ask the other. Anton, he said that it's related about the key. Okay, just one small part of the system. The other ones. Anyone can tell me? No, it's not talk about because encode and decode is the same. Encrypt and decrypt is the same. What does it mean encode and
I think that encode is like we have a value to we have a value and key, and then we like we have a formula that encode with the key, and then we generate to like value that we don't understand thing. And this code we need to get a value, and the key is like decode them to the information or value that we understand.
Okay. The first of all, I would like the definition for the first thing is the same for cryptography, encode and decode. Encrypt and decrypt, encode and decode is the same. The definition is about let me try to write first. You know what is the information transforms? What does it mean transform? For example, I use the magic wands to transform all of you to be a horse. So information transform, it does mean that you convert from one information to the other information that those two information not the same. For example, I have input as A and put in code and then you can get B. So it's a process of encode and encrypt. But the difference between encode and cryptography, like Antoine said at the moment, we have one thing is about the key. So if you focus about algorithms or encode, they have only algorithm. But for cryptography, you have algorithms and key. For example, in this one, you have y equal to a x plus b, that a and b is constants. So our system, we do not need any key. You just need input x, you can get y, y. Sorry. So for our cryptography, we need algorithm and key. For example, if our system echo is the same, a and x plus b. In this case, if our algorithm just only linear function, or the we can call line equations. So if we need a key, for example, a b must be the output of the key system. So we have the other key system. I put password, for example. In key system, I just put key as key system. So our key system will produce two coefficients is called a and b. So after that, a and b goes to our algorithm, crypto algorithm. So in this case, I just put, okay, let me put this case. After that, in our system, we have x here. After that, we can get a result here. So if you ask me what is the difference between encode and encrypt, the definition, the same thing is we transform information from one thing to the other things. And what is the difference? The difference is we focus about encode, we have only one algorithms. And we have just have the input and we can get the output. But when we talk about cryptography, we have the key and we have the algorithms. If you ask me which one is better, it depends on how quality that you try to evaluate. Mostly in code and cryptography, we try to transfer our information from one thing to the other things. And how secure enough those information transform is how quality the system you have. So for our cryptography system, you can represent your algorithm by using mathematics. Because why I say like that? Cryptography is a kind of fact system. Fact system, so if you have y equals to f of x, so when you get reverse function, so in this case, I just would like to get x back. So what can I do? In this case, it's not 100% the same what I write. I just put like something like this. So it means that you can make a go through process and then a reverse process. But it doesn't mean that you just put the inverse, it can come back the same. It's not like that. So this is the kind of cryptography that you can represent by mathematical model. So in order to solve your model, they have many ways. One solution, some people to put in their publications, they just write algorithms. So you just write algorithm, for example, okay, they have input x from user, get input, make a loop while or for, after that write code, something like this. Some people, you just draw diagram. We have f x here, equation equals to x plus b. We have in constant a and b as a constant, and then we have input x. Output we get equate here. Some people just represent the system like that. So the way that you try to represent something like this, we call modeling. The way you try to make assumption or execute, for example, x equals to, for example, in this one, I try to make segmentation array of a sorry. A, C, D, E, G, M, for example. We have x like this, and then you try to, when we input x1 to the systems, fx, you will get y1, and y1 equals to, for example, you put a, your answer is x. Sorry, we like I put the other alphabet, is more easier, not confused. Okay, you get p, you put x2 to the function, you get y2, and then for example you put c, you get the other value as q, for example. So the way that you try to run one step by step to let your audience see, so we call this kind of thing is simulations. Okay, can you catch up what I mean?
So it's like when we go like process step by step, it's simulation. And if we
Yes.
draw the model of whatever like input or something like left hand, we call modeling, right? Yeah.
Yep. So the keyword is about representations. When you try to make something to represent something, so those kind of concepts in our system we call modeling. After that, you try to execute, run it, manipulate it. So this one we call simulate. I just put verb simulate or simulation is, sorry. Oh, sorry. Why I cannot go back to my file? So wait a bit, let me go to the last sketch here. Okay, let me try you. So when you try to make something, in this case, I would like to tell you that produce the represent thing we call modeling. You try to run it, try to execute it to show the result of your model we call simulations. The idea that I would like to tell of you is that every aspect in this world can be represented by some things. Those kind of something that we say at the moment is modeling. When you try to make that model work, we call simulations. So can you catch up what I mean?
Like one is like plan, one is like we make it in reality or something.
assumption the process is not really reality. You can say it's reality, but it's not like it just only the resumes that assume that assumption that how it's work. It's not the real running.
Yeah. Just assume.
Yes. So the first lesson we just focus on about the definition, the usage, and how can you present your work to your audience. And the goal from the first lesson or class is mean that the outcome that I would like to have is make sure that when someone asks you to draw something or to present something, you are able to make a simple representation and then show them with your explanations. It's just only this. Okay.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. To make sure that you can understand, now I put one problem. I will ask some of you, I do not know who, you will see that who will answer. So I have one system. That system is I have one system is about sorry. You know garments?
Like
No,
small.
no, teacher.
Garment factory, what does it mean? Okay, it's about the clothes factory, but I'm not sure that the spelling is correct, but just okay, garment factory.
Garments spelled G-A, not
GA.
C-A.
Okay, okay, garment factory. With garment factory, our system is we call cutting and sewing. Cutting and sewing. What it means is mean that our machine is cutting and sewing. Our input is side and close product here. The question is, can it be represented by so I have input as a side and close, and we have one machine is about cutting and sewing. So can this machine represented by mathematical model? Why not? No. Why? Yes. Why? Do you understand about the problems?
Uh, yeah, yes, a bit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Nguồn hát.
Bạn là khổ.
Okay. Try to answer the question and give the reasons why. Can
I
our
got
can our system represented by mathematical model? Why? You see at the moment in our system we have input the side close. We have the machine is about cutting and sewing. After that we have the product. can our system be represented by mathematical model? ឆ្លើយ
ខ្ញុំគិតថាអត់ទេលោកគ្រូ
មូលហេតុ
ដោយសារអឺក្អៅឬក៏ម៉ូដអីហ្នឹងយើងអឺ
you see the problem now I have the problems and I tell you that every aspect in this world can be represented by some things and the way that the goal of this course is that when you have the problem you can represent it by something and then you show it to or explain it to your customer and now I have one problem for you and ask you that this what kind of thing that can represent this system. And the question we do not go too broad like that. Just ask. So the specific term is, can the system represented by mathematical model? Yes and no. Just the answer. You said no. And can you give a reason why you say no? Actually, when you know about reason yes or no, you have to know about the reason why.
អឺដោយសារខ្ញុំគិតថាអាហ្នឹងវាមិនមិនថាយើងបិទតាកៅអៅយើងមានប្រវែងមានអីចឹងហ្នឹងប៉ុន្តែយើងមិនអាចថាដាក់ទៅវាចេញកៅអៅមកដូចអ្វីយើងចង់បានទេ
Okay. Our friend just said that, however, our system have the measuring number as a sign, but it's a kind of thing that cannot make by mathematics. Chanant, what do you think about his answer?
For my idea, I think it can be represented in mathematical modeling because yes, it have measure, and sometimes it cannot be produced by just measuring. But for me, I think that measuring in that modeling is enough, and then the measuring all of this will be make it to in equation or something like to make a disclose sign this product how size we want or the apparent uh, so t-shirt or something like that we can like they can make the machine work in the specific way to produce that kind of product. I think
Okay,
like that.
this is your answer. You said yes, and the reason you said that a step can be represented. So let me draw you how the system works. So I will ask you to confirm your answer that is it correct or not correct. The process our system we have input at the side and close. So the first system will work with one kind of thing is the side. I just input side. Our side will go to the one sequence. I just put the sequence here. One sequence here. I call as a controller here. After that, when we put the side into the sequence as controller, it will goes to, I can say that the process in this case is demands or request, sorry, request or order, I just put the words, to the mechanisms machines. You know mechanisms? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, teacher.
Yes.
So our mechanism will form their machines to be the closed side. So our close will import to the mechanism, and then we be cut and sewing to be kind of close here. So this is the way the machine works. If you ask me that can be represented by mathematical formula or mathematical model, I will say to you that in case if I focus in this area, I will say yes. But if I focus on this area, I will say no. In mechanisms, machine, mechanic, it's also the scientific can be represented by mathematics. But in this one, the make control, it just only the components. It may control by the circuit, or we can say controller here. So controller combined as a brain. So as a brain, it means it's compute here. It compute normally while it's compute, it have some formula to we call like arithmetic, or you in computer you have arithmetic, and then the how does it work in the processing. So we can represent its mathematics here. However, we cannot make a simulation or make the process by using plus, minus, multiply, or divide. But in this case, you can use logic gates. It's also the mathematic ones. So mechanism is just only the way that we form up the machine. It's not a mathematic one. Just okay, put this in this position or group in this kind of process. It's just only machine. It's not mathematic. That's why you can say any model by yourself. I name is like a mechanical model. This one we can call is a physical model. Everyone know that physical is applied math. So partial of the system can represent by mathematical model, but it's not all the case can apply. Can you understand the concept what I mean here? The
Yeah, teacher.
yes,
Uh, I,
okay, okay.
yeah, I just have a question because I didn't understand why exactly the mechanism model can be represented by a mathematical model. Because technically, I mean, uh, for me, a mechanism could be represented by a mathematical
Okay,
model.
okay. Yeah. In mechan mechanisms, some part of mechanism can represented by mathematic model. It is a science one and it's the fact one too. But in some case, for example, if you would like to build a bike, or you can stack one bike, normally we the medical we try to fit by using a mentor. When you try to save the structure of the bike, we try to use mathematical to represent how to calculate the weight, can you calculate the age of the bike. But when you try to deploy it to build as a physical machine once, so those kind of machine, they just place by the position that remote or controlled by controller, or we can call it a circuit. So for example, in mechanism in this part, for example, I will write in this one. Controller, you can call it like mathematic formula because it's used a physical here. You have the computation here. But when controller gives requests to the mechanic term, I just put a request to here. For example, you have the mechanic machine here. heat, burns, watering. So this kind of block is just only the physical ones that make control by the controller or the circuit one. If you see that the formula just put here, it just yes, for example 0, 1, 0. It's mean that when you focus only this part, you can call it mathematical formula. But about heat and burn here, the behavior here, it's not mathematical. It's just only the physical ones. It's not physics, it's a physical. I can say it's not like we can say it's tool. You can say it's a device. Can you catch up what I mean here?
Yes, totally.
Okay, so if the whole thing is the combination between many kind of model together, the idea that I would like to say to you this kind of thing is one system can match many kind of model together to represent one kind of model. So for example, I say if my name is K, for example, I put the name of model is K model. That my proposal is the combination between mathematics, physics, mechanical. I represent this one is a mechanical model. So this is my proposed solutions. So when you show to your customer, you just write something like this as equations. After that, you draw diagram like this as the detailed architecture of your proposed solutions. So this is one way that I can show the model to the customer. Can you catch up what I mean?
Yes.
Okay, good. So for today practical class, I aim to just only explain you about the real world and how can we apply those what kind of work. So I just pick up some practical issue that happen in current work. For example, if you go to the garment factory or make medical factory, so a lot of system can be represented by something, but the ways that we can define something, they have many ways. Some people just use a drawing because you cannot formula with the mathematics, physics, or make medical model, so you cannot draw it. Some people just use a kind of mathematics because their equations, their model can calculate by use computing. For example, we build computer, we use computing. So computing is kind of calculation. Calculation is kind of mathematics. So you can use mathematics form. However, is a logic or the other thing is the performance of the mathematics. So you can represent by it. But some term, it just kind of logic or physical. I do not know how to say in English well, but just only description to show to you. It's just a device. It's just a show up the process. You do it and you not do it. So I do not know exactly the name of we can call this kind of model, but just okay, mechanical model or we just say that it is element structure, something like this. So when you try to answer one question, one kind of thing that I what would like everyone to do is like, please try to observe, try it to examination it first. For example, the first issue that I would like to tell to you is that when you try to make one like a garment factory, like a cutting and sewing machines, we have the input. Normally, that kind of machine have to have the controller, and the controller must be some circuit that can compute something and they have the input something. So those kind of things you can represent by mathematics or physical formula. But for the mechanism tool like a mental or like a fire, it's not any kind of mathematics. It's just kind of action. Let them controlled by controller. So those kind of thing is not like a mathematic or physical model. It's just like some mechanism tool structure only. Okay. So now I would like to finish my instruction here. So do you have any question you would like to ask?
Sure, like the action, what should we apply in that model?
Okay, if for example, if it's a kind of the process model, the process model is mean that if you cannot, for example, if you cannot represent it by some formula of mathematics or the kind of the structure of diagram, you just put some a kind of process shape that represent those kind of things. For example, heat. For example, heat. You put just like, okay, I remote control to demand it to hit. You just put something like this. This kind of thing can be represented by use the word or the speech, or just draw something, draw any drawing. So if you ask me that what is the name of those kind of model, at the moment, as I told you, my model is combination between mathematical model, physical model, and mechanical model. So I just name my model as K model. It's just example. So the name of model you can use anything as you want, but the property inside you have a specific term to describe. Can you understand?
Yes, teacher.
Mm. Um, just introduction to idea is the way that I would like like to water your brains to have the idea to say something only. It's not about the technical word. Just only at least you have something to say. You have idea to initial one problems, and then you have to solve those kind of things immediately to the customer. It's just only this is the goal of the first meetings. And for next week, we will go to some specific course about the science. So in some specific course, you will go to learn about some specific problem and some specific solution. So those kind of things you will easy to understand. But today just too general to everyone to understand. Okay.
Yes.
And I just inform all of you that for today, you don't have to submit any assignment because I cannot put assignment anything to let you submit. Normally, when we focus about the database, have to be something in practice, make a calculations, build something to be happens. But for the first introduction, I cannot let you build something. So our assignment for the first day, we have no assignment. You feel free to relax for the next week. But you have the other work to do is tool installations. Don't forget to install a tool.
Teacher, what kind of
Teacher,
tool?
what kind of tool we need to install?
I just only have the requirement is mathematic library.
Wait, what? You mean like MATLAB or something?
Yeah, sometimes if you don't want to use MATLAB, you just use programming language like Python, Java, C programming, JavaScript. Some people just use any programming language as you prefer. But if I am a skilled as network, I don't want to do programming, so I just use MATLAB because some basic commands it's easy to use. And some advanced technology you can try to install Jupyter, and then in kind Jupyter you can try to install Linux Docker, or you can try to install MATLAB inside Jupyter, Python inside Jupyter, R programming inside Jupyter. Everything you can be used.
Okay.
So if you ask me, teacher, do you, for example, if I try to install R programming, do you think how to use it? No, I cannot. But I can suggest you how to do it. I'm not good at R programming, but I know how to use it. Because R programming and MATLAB something similar. Those kind of mathematic tool that you can plot something you can show up something. So if you use programming language, when you try to plot the data, it is a little bit difficult. But if you use MATLAB or R programming, it will be easier to show the graph. But if you are good at programming, everything we have OOP, so you can plot graph anything you want, but it's required to be a little bit skillful in programming. Okay.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so today I have only this. So have a good weekend. And if you have any question would like to ask, you can drop me the message in the Microsoft team. I can answer to let everyone see the question and then to see the answer as much as possible I can. And you can direct me if you have the personal issue, you can direct me by telegrams or anything, Facebook, up to you. And actually everyone in here know about me except Antoine that you never see me and you all don't know about me. So you can ask some friend to show you about me if you would like to know.
Yeah, sure.
Yep, yeah. Because as perhaps I will ask you some suggestion if you can give me, because our session that we learn together, so we have only 2 sessions, it's course and TP. So do you would like to separate in 2 sessions, like in the morning course and afternoon TP, or you would like to say, okay, let's say course and TP in the same time in the afternoon?
Uh,
I don't I don't ask you to answer now because you have to make a decision. So perhaps you can make a survey to everyone. So what do you like to do? My problem is only one. I can do it, but I just only would like you to know about my problem because currently I am in Belgium. So you are you are 9 o'clock in Cambodia, so I am 4 o'clock a.m. here. It's
So you
still
can teach all in the afternoon instead.
you say it's really okay for me if you say like that, but let
Okay.
let let try to find out the other idea first. We have to choose the majority.
maybe we can create a pool or something to decide. But
Yeah, we have the tool to decide, but so I will contact Master and give her the tool to decide what is the majority to select the pool. As Master, perhaps if you have everyone in Facebook, because I see you inform everyone in Facebook, right?
Yeah.
In Facebook, you can use a pool to have the answer. For example, you have A and B, so you can use a pool in Facebook to ask them to vote. Do you know about it? Anyone know about the pool in
About
Facebook?
how to use pool, but can you describe me which question I should ask though?
Okay. Actually, when you have one problem, so actually it's we have a many social tool that you have the way to vote about the system, but in Facebook we also have pool. For example, I create a pool about party, yes or no. So in this case, we have one pool of parties about do we have to separate the class or not. You just say yes, separate, no, not separate, something like that, and then everyone can vote yes or no, yes or no by yourself, and then we will see the last result. Okay.
Yes, what if we made the poll in the Telegram?
Up to you. You can do anything.
yeah, it would be better because I don't have a Facebook. So maybe.
Okay. So you can use the Telegram one. Okay. Okay. Do you have any other concerns? And for the next class material, I will provide one day before our class. So on Thursday, I will upload a slide to you. So you have 1 day to check it in advance. But I believe that not all of you check it, because except Antoine, I teach this group of guy nearly like 1, 2, 3 years this year. And then most of them sometimes they, okay, teacher don't have the slide material. When I try to provide slide material in the one, no one check it. It's still the same as I try to provide any time while I'm teaching. Okay, see you next week. If you have any concern, just inform to, if you cannot reach me directly, you can inform to Master, and then Master will discuss in the group. If you cannot find out what is the cost, you can discuss and consult with me. And for the ones that would like to know information about how to, I'm not the good one at apply scholarship, but just only I can have some experience about the preparation task. So you can access to me.
Yes, teacher. Teacher, could you please repeat the question for me again about the poll?
Okay, whether it's okay, because Antoine he has no Facebook, so you can create a pool in Telegram, and
Yeah,
then
I create a Telegram.
yeah, and you have to vote that can we conduct course and TP in the afternoon session for all.
Yes, teacher, understood.
Okay, just only this. And this week you feel free to relax without assignment or homework. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So bye. I don't want to take so much time because it's online. I know if it takes 4 hours, it's too boring. So if everyone votes to study for our during afternoon time, perhaps I have to split some time to relax for all of you, because online class most attention is just only like a 45 minutes for the class for 8 sessions. So okay, we will find out something strategy to make sure that I try to combine the purpose or the output of the course, just only the small one, not the big one, the big picture one. For example, one session. For example, in this case, I just would like you to understand about modeling and simulation. For the next one, we try to scope the goal of the project, just only the goal of the class, just only a small one. If everyone can catch up those kind of small things, the class is okay. The class is finished. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Thank you everyone for joining today. So see you next week.
Yeah,
Akun Nugro.
thank you, teacher.
អរគុណលោកគ្រូ
Okay. Okay. Bye bye.
ជឿលោកគ្រូ